This is Mark Hill, and I am the Traveling NP. This is kind of a retake of a video I did earlier, actually yesterday, after considering and after watching the video and realizing that I came across as a little harsh and possibly vindictive. I decided to take that video down. The title of that video was Getting Dumped On in Locums. I still want to make this video, so I'm going to change it some and not focus so much on what happened as primarily deal with the aspect of being dumped on. Just a little background. I work at a particular hospital and from time to time, and I got to the hospital this particular time, and without going into any great detail about the scenario, basically a situation was dumped on me by an going provider that really put me in a position to not necessarily feel dangerous, but feel like I was really dumped on, and that things were swept under the carpet and placed in my lap as a locums provider. And it left me really with a bad taste in my mouth, and really has kind of scarred me for possibly ever working at this facility again, due to the nature of the incident and who was involved. Now, ultimately the scenario was taken care of, and everything was dealt with. But the crux of it is that in locums sometimes, and I guess in any practice, you're going to get dumped on. But it seems to me that now that I've been working locums for the last year and 3/4, I seem to get dumped on more. It's like you're the rent-a provider, you're the rent-a-cop, you're the mall cop, whatever, and so people have a tendency to take liberties with you sometimes, and it can be very frustrating. And in my position, when I'm the only provider in a hospital for sometimes up to a week at a time, there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with that. So it's tough sometimes, but that's kind of what you have to deal with when you're dealing with locums. And in a previous video, I basically mentioned that you have to take the good with the bad when it comes to the locums jobs and work. Sometimes you're going to get dumped on. Sometimes people are going to take advantage of you, and they're going to expect things from you that maybe they wouldn't expect from one of their partners or a fellow staff member or things like that. And they're going to leave you with stuff that they probably really shouldn't leave you with. And that's what really happened in this case. I was left with things that I should have never been left with, and should have been handled days before I got here. And ultimately, it got dumped on me, and I had to deal with the whole situation and try to do the best I could to correct it. So the overall perspective that I'm trying to give you is locums can be difficult from the standpoint that when you get dumped on, you don't have a lot of recourse. I can't run to administration really and report this situation and really feel secure that it's going to be dealt with without there being some repercussions on my end, because ultimately they're not going to do anything about the staff people. And if you get a reputation as being a troublemaker or whatever, they'll just stop using you. Now, the flip side of that coin is it's likely I won't come back here because of this situation. So, and that's the other beauty part of being locums is that if something like this happens, you know, I don't have to come back, and I might not. Now, I like working here. I like working with the people, and I like administration. Um, so I'm going to consider it. I'm going to take it as it comes. Um, you know, what are my recourses? I can go and complain and raise a ruckus with administration, and in the end, what is that going to get me? It's probably going to get me, you know, a bad reputation with the providers here. Um, do I take it up with that provider? Nah, because um, you know, what's the point? I mean, really. So I guess you kind of have to pick your battles when it comes to that. So getting dumped in locums is a real thing. It will happen. It's happened to me more than once. This is probably the worst case so far. Maybe worse later on. I don't know. But it's something that I've had to get used to and try to prepare my mind for. And it will affect, a lot of times where you go and what you do and if you ever go back. So, but a lot of times as a locums, you just kind of have to suck it up and eat it. There's not a whole lot. You don't have a lot of recourse. Not much you can do about it. So it is what it is. Got to take the good with the bad. There's a lot of good in locums, but occasionally there's some bad stuff too. And getting dumped on is one of those bad things. Anyway, just kind of a shorter, less specific video. So if you didn't see the first one, don't worry about it. The general concept is the same. I just didn't want to come off as vindictive and angry, because I'm not really angry. I'm disappointed, and it's opened my eyes to some things. But, things happen. You got to get past them. So it is what it is. Anyway, this is Mark Hill, the Traveling NP, and talk to you next time.